yummy food for our next bit of programming. Those of you outside on the show floor, it's been a tiring day here at Jitex. Please come on to the exchange stage, finally got that right, and enjoy some refreshments in our next talk, which is the preview of the future Blockchain Summit program at COP28. Let me introduce our moderator, Nina Dokuzov, who is the head of project group for new economy and blockchain technologies at the Ministry of Economic Development and Technology for Slovenia. The stage is yours, or here.
Thank you. I have a lot of eminent guests today with me here. First, I would like to ask Dejan Roljič from NAKA to join me here at the stage. The second company is Origin Trail, and please, Tomaz, Levak, join me here at the stage. Jernej, Vrčko from Palmatrix, also. And Mr. Ravi, Jagannathan, please join me here at the stage. So today we have a little bit different presentation because the first part of our panel will be 3 presentations for the top Slovenian use cases that we have developed in the recent years. I need just to say that Slovenia is one of the front-running companies in blockchain and other advanced digital solutions and technologies. So something is wrong with the amplifier, probably. Okay. Now I would like to ask Dejan to present us NAKA use case and to showcase also through the video.
I think we're gonna play the video first, and then we can talk. And the voice, the sound. Sound of the video. I don't have it.
Some of us take this freedom for granted, but not everyone lives in the same reality. Up to 2 billion people on the planet are still locked out of the financial system. They are the global unbanked. Their reality is one of exclusion. A world where the only bank available is a drawer or a box in which to stash their life savings. The cash-only world, with almost 0 chances of employment without a bank account. The no-loans world, where people struggle to buy the most basic products, not to mention a car or an apartment. This has been a reality for generations, an unbreakable chain. No bank account, no employment, no loans, no pension, no secure future. This is the economy they live in. But can we break this chain? How possible is an inclusive world with financial freedoms for all? Meet NAKA. We believe that having easy access to your finances is a right, not a privilege. Instant payments, transfers, worldwide remittances, and loans should be available to everyone. That's why we are launching NAKA, a set of financial products aiming to create a new reality where blockchain meets the old centralized world. NAKA is a bridge to your financial independence, offering accessible services, especially in unbanked and high inflation markets. The time has come to take back control of what you own. It is time to unlock your money. NAKA is the key.
All right. So maybe I won't spend too much time on explaining things, or just going deep into the problem of unbanked and high remittance, high inflation markets or whatsoever. But I think it's important that everybody understand and know that we have 2 billion people around the world who are unbanked. Let's say in El Salvador, you have 69% of people unbanked and only 15% of people having a debit or credit card. And that's basically a huge problem because I never totally understood what an unbanked case means. You know what an unbanked means? It means that you're not getting a salary to your bank account. You cannot get a loan. And in the end, the biggest problem is you don't have a pension. And if you don't have a pension, your children needs to always help you down the road when you get too old actually to earn money. And this spin that it's happening through generations it's actually killing the whole economy. And sometimes it's difficult to understand that, but once you meet a family, let's say 6 people living in a small room, and everybody's unbanked in different generations, well, then you're coming to a breakthrough understanding what's the real problem. Today, I'm just going to show you what our products are, and then we're going to spend more time on the panel. Basically, all our products and all our vision is based around how to bank the unbanked, but in a way to give them an option that they can still stay on the centralized or move on to the decentralized world of banking. All our products needs to be EMV compliant. It means that if we issue a card, you can hook a card to a non-custodial wallet, but the card will be read on the existing POS terminal that you want to pay with. That's a revolutionary thing, and I don't know any of the company actually doing this. Everything needs to be blockchain-based. It means we don't need to use the core banking systems anymore in matter to drive the transactions peer-to-peer, cross-border, or even having an instant settlements towards the merchant side or the users. And it has to be cost efficient. Our transaction system works in a way that we come up to 90% cheaper transaction around the globe. And the fee is the same. Are you coming from Japan, or are you coming from Argentina, or are you coming from the US? Doesn't even matter. Wherever you're going to pay, the thing's going to work and the transaction fee is going to be lower. We have a set of tools. Imagine how we do things. If you have banking that you understand today, we digitalize every aspect of banking. So we take their card issuance and we transform it totally differently. The card acceptance, we transform it. The merchant dashboard, we change it totally. So we try to digitalize every aspect of whatever banking is offering you today. The most interesting is right now NAKA card, because that's going to be launched on Friday in Switzerland, in Lugano, on Playing Bitcoin event. And this card is the first one that is working on its own scheme, like Visa and MasterCard is doing, but it has its own scheme. It's run on blockchain, and it's hooked to a non-custodial wallet. It means nobody else except you control your money. There is no bank anymore in between. You can read and check more about what we're doing on this case later on. The scheme and the partnership programs, what that means, anyone can issue the card. Today, if you want to issue a MasterCard or Visa, you need to have special certificates from them and approvals to issue the card. Over here, you can issue a card on every gas station, on every coffee store, whatever. Whoever doesn't have a bank account, it can get a card, hook the card to their wallet, and start actually spending it, and eventually move this thing forward. The acquiring program works in a way, an issuing program works in a way that we work with the existing infrastructures around the world. So we open the door to everybody who wants to join the system, and then we, of course, we digitalize them in this kind of way. Then, of course, we also have the ESO programs and whatsoever. The payment acceptance thing, so if you want to, today you all saw these terminals everywhere. I actually believe that in the next 5 years, these terminals won't exist anymore. And also there will be a problem for Visa and MasterCard to find a business model that will be sustainable, because we see that open banking, the peer-to-peer transactions, and payments in crypto world are becoming more obsolete in a way that you don't need a physical terminals anymore. But anyway, they exist in majority of the world still. That's why we introduced our own that works with a NAKA card. You can have one terminal that accepts all kind of card payments, crypto payments, digital payments, buy now, pay later models, loyalties, issuing even different kind of couponing or whatsoever, but everything in one device. So it means that the merchant starts making money with having a POS terminal, not losing money anymore on that case. And the POS terminal is made actually for the physical stores, but of course we need to cover also other segments of work, especially on the e-commerce side. The online stores, the plugins are ready to play. Again, the same model, the same interface, but in the online world. The merchant dashboard, what's different is from this merchant dashboard, you can actually send money to your employees directly on-chain without having a bank account in the back, or you can pay your suppliers directly from the merchant dashboard. The merchant dashboard sees all your transactions and settles the money to your bank accounts or your crypto accounts instantly. We, of course, offer licensing and white label solutions. We're not a closed system and keeping the interesting things only for ourselves. We're very much open, and we search for relevant partners on different kind of markets. If you want to talk with me and discuss things with me, please join me. We're working with the biggest companies in our space. And yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you, Dejan. So we are getting the first bank on blockchain, and we are very happy that you shared this with us, also with the card system. So please, Tomaz, the second use case is on Origin Trail, and Tomaz will present himself probably better than me.
All right. Good afternoon, is it? Yeah, just about. It's great to be here. Thanks for having us. And my name is Tomaz, and I'll be speaking today about Origin Trail, and especially on the topic of, let me just pull up the slide. The slides. We can start with the slides, yes, please. So what I'll be talking about is misinformation in the age of AI. Misinformation is something that we've been tackling with over the last decade or so. But it's usually before, let's say, the last period, it was either a mischievous individual, a shady individual, or just someone making a mistake that led to some sort of misinformation in coming about. What we're seeing in the last period is the second part of the title of this talk, and it's the age of AI. And what we're getting with artificial intelligence, and especially with the advent of agents, we're getting a lot of misinformation happening. Fake news, you can have just a lot of not even willingly created misinformation, but misinformation nonetheless. I don't know how many of you have seen Black Mirror? Yeah? A few of those hands coming up. For those of you that haven't, it's a really good portrayal of what, even when we don't have hallucinations, when AI does a great job, how important it is for us to think about ownership, how important it is for us to think about content rights, copyright, who owns something, who owns an image, who owns an art piece, who is the owner of text that was written, or a solution or a product in the shop, an automobile that was produced. And in this case, we see Salma Hayek in a lot of different roles, and again, if you haven't checked it out, it's something that really portrays nicely of how the danger of AI can be seen if we don't have it managed properly. And it's really not just the Netflix shows. It has happened to Tom Hanks when they were using his image absolutely without his consent, using an AI model to create a fairly interesting dental commercial for a toothpaste. Of course, he never heard or seen anything about it until he saw his face on the internet. So what I'm trying to say here, it's very important that we think about misinformation and the different forms that it's taking and how can we fight it. And that's something we've been, again, doing for the last decade, is we help businesses, organizations, and communities tackle misinformation, fight misinformation, exactly where it's important for them. Together with partners like British Standards Institution, a 100-plus-year-old organization focused on creating business standards, we are tackling or helping US importers like Walmart, Home Depot, Costco, which is over 40% of the imports into the United States, to have a safer import route because they can exchange information on audit reports, security audit reports. Another example is Swiss Federal Railways, a business that uses Origin Trail to ensure safe rail travel in Switzerland. And there's roughly over 150 plus partners in different research and development projects in Europe that are using it. So if we kind of now got a feeling about the misinformation, the scale of the problem that it is, now let's see how really we can tackle this. So we can run with the first video, if that's okay, guys. The first video, we can run that. So what we're seeing here is something that you're probably familiar with if you've used ChatGPT. The difference is what we're going to see here is that the response is not generated. So it's not solely generated from the AI model. What happens rather is, we can play it. So what happens is when we'll have a question here populating here, the system will actually search through something that's a trusted knowledge foundation and find the right piece of information which has provenance, which has an issuer, which has an owner, and then it will produce a response on something that is already trusted. So that is a big, let's see, maybe it's me that have to press the button. We can get her. Anyways, so what you can get is basically have that element of trust embedded in an AI-powered solution. So that is where we see a big game changer, because there is a lot of requirements or value to be captured by the use of generative AI models if we can have that trusted element. So it's not just AI, it's trusted AI, it's decentralized AI. And here is the big, maybe we can even just jump to the second one, guys. I think we can do the second one, maybe that one's gonna be easier to run. So what we're gonna see here is that this is not just limited to an interface that you can see online. In this particular example, we have PR releases, so information about companies being used as a knowledge asset, as something that has been made trusted. In this case, we'll see that the same principles apply for something that you can find in the store, like a food product, a luxury item, a car, whatever it is that can be described with some sort of a knowledge context is something that we can create a trusted AI solution around. If we'll be lucky, doesn't work, we'll give it 5 more seconds, see if that... I'll try pressing the button, see if this... Oh, it's running, awesome. So what we're seeing here is someone in a supermarket taking a product, seeing this is actually a standardized QR code by GS1, the guys that invented the barcode. They now are introducing a new standard called Digital Ink. And with the scan of something that is already on the product, you are transformed into an interaction point with the product. You can ask that piece of meat where it came from. So in this case, Emma is asking, is this meat organic? And what she'll get a response is not just a response. She will get response with provenance, with the certificates that were issued by given agencies, and she will be able to figure out all the knowledge assets that have been used to create this answer. In this case, there were 4 of them on the screen. So it's not just one single source. It could be multiple sources creating that particular answer. And yeah, we'll see that you can go actually in, and you can figure out, and here you can see a representation of a knowledge graph. So you can go and you can figure out what is actually connected with something else. You can play around and you can be sure that what you're actually looking at has the level of trust that you would expect for something that you'll be feeding your family later that night. And this is what Origin Trail provides to you. Why is it so powerful? Because we're bridging 2 very powerful technologies. Knowledge graph, something that was popularized by Google back in the day, now used by Netflix, Amazon, NASA, whoever you want, and blockchain technology, which is something that was obviously introduced by Bitcoin and since also propagated. When we merge these things together, we receive the trust of the blockchain, and we receive the very powerful database qualities of the knowledge graphs. And that's a decentralized knowledge graph. In the words of our advisor, Dr. Bob Metcalf, the founder of Ethernet, we live in abundant time of connectivity and also information. The DKG is an evolving tool for finding the truth in knowledge. In particular, the knowledge graphs are improving the fidelity of artificial intelligence. So if we want to have an AI future, it better be a trusted one. Thank you very much for your attention right now, and we'll talk more on the panel.
Thank you, Tomaz. Very nice presentation. I would like to ask the third one, Jernej, Vrčko, to present Palmatrix, Palmabot, however.
Thank you.
Please take
All right. First, I would like to thank Nena for inviting me here, and the Ministry of Economic Development and Technology of Slovenia. Second thing, I would like to thank Vishnu and his team for doing a wonderful job. They fixed my presentation. I was not able to be here earlier today, but we anyway succeeded. Hopefully, yeah, it works super. Thank you, guys. So, imagine you own or run a bank or a brokerage house. Can you imagine that? First thing that comes to my mind is that I would be lying under the palm tree, right? So what do you do when you own a bank? You run around meeting new people, networking, searching for bigger businesses to do international transfers, etc., etc. Any idea you want to add maybe? Just raise your hand. Okay. Now, imagine that your friend from Brazil comes to you, visits you, and he tells you about a sustainability project that was with the tokenization aimed to save the planet's lungs, the Amazon forest. What would you start thinking in this case? What I would be thinking is, how can I enable my clients to invest into such project to save the world? Right? So let me try if I know how to do that. Yes. So I would like to introduce you to our partner, Tupan token, to which we, with our smart order routing that is now being implemented, that means they will be using 30 crypto exchanges in the back for doing exchanges and transfers in a fully regulated way. They have a fund, they have a crypto fund, and they have a bank. So it's a really fully regulated setup. And how the system works is remarkable. I will not go into very much details, but what is important is that farmers that grow their own food for themselves, they are allowed to cut the trees of the Amazonian forest. But if you want to do it for business, the license for reforestation is very expensive and hard to get. So the small farmers cannot do it, right? And what they did, they got the license and took all the small farmers under the one roof, and they can make their income higher by 50%. So, and they don't have to sell on the black market, right? The farmers. So they can increase their income from 50% of the full market to 75% and go from the black market to the legal market if they are paying with the token. The rest of the 25%, 20% goes for sustaining the funds and everything, and 5% is divided into the exchange provider, and what is left usually is 3 to 4% to the reforestation fund. And our smart order routing can give them up to 3-4% of additional spread in every exchange and transaction in the back that is made. That basically means that we can hire the revenue for the reforestation of the Amazon forest for 90%. It is not the only project. So this is how our conceptual structure looks like. We are a technology provider, and that is why to each country we come, we are searching for local banks or brokers, whoever has the license for the crypto exchange, to get on board, to become our partner and support all the projects locally. Like, for example, the Tupan sustainability project for reforestation of the Amazon forest. What I would mention is, for example, Rapido TV, who is a coming project also based on our existing technology that is working. They have 50 clients globally, and they would like to tokenize the TV and make it on demand and AI powered, and we would like to support that with our data processing engine that is able to grasp many data and filter it and make it usable for any type of the user. So yeah, there is also targeting, and the TV on demand with the AI support can then automatically present that to users in a very, let's say, interesting way. We are also making a decentralized and centralized markets bridge with Sora, and with Arabian Creatives, we are supporting the payments infrastructure to add crypto as a payment option. Oh no. Yeah, that's it. So for all the banks and brokers here, I would like to say, keep on going. We can support you and enable you to do everything in crypto payments, exchange, and asset management in 2 days. Persistence is the mother of success. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Jernej. And thank you for very good and well-prepared and exhaustive presentations. Now, I would like to invite you to a short discussion about, we need to know that Slovenia is also together with Dubai World Trade Center, Future Blockchain Summit, in the partnership preparing strong program for the COP28 here in Dubai from 5th to 7th. This is why I would like to a little bit touch a momentum to explain the sustainability of your technological solutions. Okay, we saw, for example, we saw here how we address unbanked with your technological solutions, how we address that missing information or mislead it to probably save certain topics which can lead to either sustainable solutions or, on the other hand, on consumer and customer protection. We can see here also the very good model of how to address certain topic for exact use case on sustainability with tokenization and how to create the financial instrument out of this. And probably we can talk about the consumer protection and so on. So here I would like, Dejan, first to ask you how you see, how can we create a sustainable business model through that card that you are using, through the bank concept to include or to make more inclusive and more sustainable concept of doing banking through your card?
I think we just need to make it accessible to everybody. And once you make it accessible to everyone, you actually make it more sustainable. So the accessibility is definitely the way towards the sustainability. So I think that's the answer.
Yeah, on the other hand, we know that UN is addressing a lot of the topics of these less developed countries that do not have access to finance, that also maybe social inclusion will be ensured through that banking of unbanked territories and areas. But what is the solution for them? Maybe microloans and that topics?
I mean, if we look from another angle or another perspective, if you would see a brain from a person who doesn't have money, or that has a huge problem with accessing the money, you would see that the brain functions are like totally different. The stress factor is so high that eventually, if you try to help them on that side to become actually banked and have an option to get a microloan at the beginning, eventually get a loan for the apartment, they have the hope and they have actually, the belief that they can do something better, that they can achieve better. So I think the financial inclusion, it's a mandatory thing that should happen because it will give people back the hope, the wish, motivate them to actually make things and move forward. I know it's a bit, the idea of Miss World, but it works that kind of a way. If you give them options, they will try to use it, they will try to grow, they will become more sustainable.
Sure. Thank you for this. We know that the data is very important, and if we can trust in the data, then we can also afford the sustainable business models in the long term. So what do you think, how can your decentralized knowledge graph impact on sustainable businesses with regards to environmental footprint? We know that we are addressing that ESG context. We were talking in the previous panel on reporting on sustainable development goals, on monitoring. How can we do this through your application of
Yeah, thanks for the question. And I think I'll maybe just bounce off also what Dejan was saying, because you can do it if you need to get your hands dirty. You need to get in touch and start really working on the grounds. So it's the technology is a very important enabler, and you know, the decentralized knowledge graph is right now on its 6th iteration. It's been launched in 2018. It's a mature technology. It's a very important component. It's the trusted infrastructure we're basing everything out of. But if it's not implemented anywhere, then it's just not technology. Then it's just, you know, it's vaporware. Like, yeah, I could have the best thing wherever it is, and it's not going to be worth anything if it's not deployed, if you don't go through the wheels of really making sure that you're creating tangible impact on the grounds. And when I see DKG and Origin Trail getting used by some of the organizations we mentioned before, creating tangible impact, you know, donated medicine space, 35,000 people receiving their hemophilia medications because in a safer way, without gray markets happening. When you see just increases of very tangible progress happening on the ground with all these partners, it's where we see this is how you do sustainability in my end. So like that's why I get up in the morning, is because I feel that whatever we do within our ecosystem, it pushes that barrier forward. We are definitely not making the world a worse place than we found it, but you're trying to push that always, push the envelope further and further out. And right now I'm really excited because at this point, when we see what AI brought to the table was a lot of awareness. So people understand the importance of trust even more because AI is creating so much misinformation and has the potential to do even more so in the future. And what the DKG can here now bring is something that, why I'm mentioning it, because in one of the few previous panels we were hearing, it's a very complex thing, it takes a lot of time to develop. It is. All of this is true. But today with OT, you can do your use case deployment, create your knowledge vault, and connect it to an AI model, have a trusted AI solution in less than 2 weeks. So this is not something that you should be waiting around and seeing what's going to happen, if it's going to happen. It's just about getting to it, start working on sustainable solution, try leveraging all this technology, create better business model, create a better solution, lessen the misinformation, and that's how, in my perspective, we're getting to sustainable future for the humanity in the end.
But let me ask you one more question. What have you realized from all the development of Origin Trail? Because you were first mostly oriented into traceability, into circular economy, into that type of sustainability. Now you are coming to decentralized knowledge graph. What was the evolution?
Yeah, I mean, the principles are absolutely the same, right? So when we were, and Elena mentioned, like we started off working and helping sustainable food producers because the misinformation on the market was that there was importers who were claiming that their meat are as good as someone who was producing it organically and locally. So that misinformation is what they were trying to fight. And we have created a solution that they were able to fight it with. Along the lines, we saw that to create these solutions, the technology can be a big help. Blockchain technology brought a lot of trust element, and that's so important. The integrity, the veracity of who issued something, when it was issued, and it hasn't been changed. That's something that was crucially important, and that's why it was added. Knowledge graphs are hugely important because they give you the function of discoverability. You can actually find something. Like you can find stuff on Google because they use knowledge graph. That's how you can find things on the DKG. But it's very difficult to find something on blockchain. So, you know, this is like you're putting together technologies that work. And when you see but the addressing of the problem is the same. And sustainability is a challenge of misinformation, very much so. And when we're tackling that, we are coming to a more sustainable future. So whether that starts in the a small-scale food producer on organic meat, and you can get engaged in that, that works. Or if you come to the large-scale deploying of integrity-based trusted AI solution in the finance sector, that also brings a lot of integrity to the table. So I think it's the same thing.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. So this is the challenge for you, Jernej.
Yeah.
How can we approach here with the tokenization of the green assets, for example?
Yeah. I would like to add my sense as well to the first topic, because, you know, when I think about sustainability and blockchain and cryptocurrencies, you know, you can't avoid Bitcoin mining, right? So it's many things have been said, but what I would like to give a message is we don't have to be afraid. you know, because the technology is improving all the time. I know many individuals that are doing brilliant work on this, and just recently, which is very interesting, the Bitcoin virtual machine was published, so the white paper for Bitcoin virtual machine, which is leading us towards more sustainable Bitcoin mining as well. So this is something I think is very important to know. The next question, thank you, Tomaz, for giving the way. It's definitely the exchange is also something we should, let's say, consider when thinking how to tokenize something, because whenever there is a new project, I'll put it in a very simple term, you know, whenever there is a simple project, there needs to be a new project, there needs to be influx of the money. So the money has to come in, the fiat money, the crypto money, it doesn't matter. And in the back, the exchange needs to happen. So this is, let's say, the first primary support for the things to happen. So this is already one, maybe indirect, but it is an effect, how to make things more sustainable, right? Otherwise, in general, as I said already in my presentation, there are beautiful projects raising, connecting communities in the direction of a better, more sustainable future. Carbon credit tokenization, the previous guys were talking about that as well. So this is, I think, things that are worth mentioning, following, and, as Tomaz said it, implementing. So please, I'm inviting everybody to get more involved into this. Let's do it.
Great, thank you. Ravi, you were talking even before, but let me ask you, you also have some solutions. We heard the communities, the trusted information, everything like this, social inclusion. You are addressing digital customer in your case, and is that digital customer also a sustainable customer? How you treat the customers through your application? If you can ask a little bit, explain that.
Guys?
It works.
No, they will use it.
You want to try this one?
Hello. Yeah, let's understand first the difference between digital customer and physical customer. I'll give an example. I'm walking into a restaurant and I want to have a good meal, and that's a traditional physical customer. So if I have to get into an app and I'm ordering for my pizza and somebody is going to deliver it to my doorsteps, that's what I would give a simple explanation of digital customer. So when a digital customer engages with the suppliers and others in the ecosystem, now there are two things. Number one, probably if he's not traveling to the pizza shop, maybe there is a little bit of carbon saving he's doing. But there could be many more areas where he may be emitting carbon, because number one, the packaging, the guy who's traveling, and then he's throwing the waste and all those stuff. Definitely the digital customer, if he wants to be sustainable, there has to be an extra step. That extra step could be an offsetting the carbon emission that he may be doing. I'll give another example. There is Ethiopian farmers who are producing or farming coffee producers, supplying coffee beans all over to, say for example, Netherlands. We did a project called Fair Chain Foundation. It's a coffee, the entire chain is traced and tracked in blockchain. So when the Ethiopian farmer, when he's supplying the coffee bean to the producer, and then finally it reaches consumer. If I'm a consumer sitting in The Hague, if I'm ordering for a coffee, then I'll have the entire information about that chain. Who was produced the coffee bean, and then what kind of logistics they used, and where it finally got packed, and how I got the coffee in my table. Now, when I get this information in a very transparent way, as my friend was mentioning, the trace and track, immutability, when it comes along with my coffee, then I can do multiple things. If that Ethiopian farmer, whose details are available in the QR code, I can give back something to him. It could be a micro lending. It could be a donation. It could be a simple tip. Now, a digital consumer is very much enabled. This is the second part of digital consumer, the sustainability when we talk. It could be one part of the SDG. It could be a financial inclusion. It could be improvising the society. It could be carbon, offsetting the carbon. Multiple things are available in this kind of a ecosystem. And all the parties who are participating in the system, they will be just providing the information that is relevant. And all these things are hardened, and it is available to me as a consumer. When it comes to me, for example, if I know this is 20 grams of carbon I'm emitting for buying that pizza, I don't have to buy one carbon credit, which is 1 metric ton. I can just pay for 20 grams. It could be 1 cent or 2 cents. Now, the app can give me an ability of offsetting. They can say, okay, you take this fractionalized token. As my friend was mentioning about the token, a fractionalized token could be 1,000 tokens for 1 carbon credit. If mine is only just about 20 grams, I can buy 20 tokens, and at least I'm happy that I am not contributing this kind of global warming. I think this is where the sustainability factors and the digital platform and blockchain all together is going to be helpful to reach that climate action goal. So that, in a simple sense, Web3 and blockchain and tokenization and all these Web2 related applications together will converge, and effectively it will help the society to reach its goal.
Thank you, Ravi. Before we conclude, do we have any questions from the public?
Thank you very much, panelists and moderator. A very good panel. Tomaz, this is for you. Ocean Trail, very much needed application. First question, a couple of questions for you, if you don't mind. How much you have are running on the still centralized environment, and how much on blockchain? And second thing is privacy is a big thing. You mentioned AI already. Do you use zero knowledge technology to tackle that one?
Some more questions. We can take one more and then finish. Okay, please, Tomaz.
Cool. Yeah. Thanks for the question. I appreciate the compliment. So the blockchain component is hugely important as a trust layer for us. And you can imagine the decentralized knowledge graph, that is actually a peer-to-peer network. So it's a decentralized network on its own, and it integrates into multiple blockchains, which can be used for either, let's say, pursuing sustainability. So you want to go towards the most sustainable option, or you want to go towards the most performant option, or you want to go towards something you're just used to. So either, whatever the case it is, the blockchain layer always performs the same function, and it's the function of having that trust, so you know who published something, when was it published, and something hasn't changed. And then the decentralized knowledge graph, it's a decentralized network on its own. It's an open source, permissionless network. You can spin up a node and join the network and be a participant and publish your knowledge vault today. There's nothing stopping you to do it, and we'd be very happy if you do. And that's the element of neutrality that needs to be achieved if we want to have inclusivity, so that there's no censorship into who can publish something onto the DKG. Of course, privacy is then what is hugely important, and that is a part of the lesson that was learned by the team very early on when we were deploying the technology in real life. Because obviously when, let's say, Walmart and Home Depot wanted to exchange security audit reports, it's not something that an average Joe should have access to and kind of privacy to read it. So the DKG actually has a very, very incremental way of setting what can be seen by whom. So those permissions, the management of permissions to the data can be very, very granular. So you can literally create a knowledge asset and within it define this is something that can be seen by everyone, it's public, this is something only my 2 friends can see, and this is something only I should see. And when you run an AI solution on top of it, depending on your permissions, on your access rights, you will be receiving an answer that is aligned with that. So if you have full access, you will receive an answer that is more rich. And if you're just someone who's kind of trying to figure out something that's public knowledge, your answer is going to be like that. So that's the way that you can handle So it is kind of zero knowledge-ish, but it's not using the ZK, doesn't have to use the ZK technology in that sense, because again, that's more optimized. And while we're on the topic of sustainability, and AI is obviously is kind of huge, and also a huge resource, hugely resource intensive, that type of approach, when you can do retrieval and then use AI, optimizes that by an order of magnitude, because you can kind of have a much more tailored use of AI versus just a general AI thing, and that gives it much more usability. So I hope that kind of answers the questions. Thanks.
Thank you very much. So for the conclusion, each of you one sentence. Are we heading to the point when technology with that immersive character will very much support sustainability, social inclusion, environmental impact, and governance, future governance models that are also inherent in your use cases? Very short, one sentence.
I think it depends from person to person, country by country. I don't know. We all need to accept it and live it and enable it inside of our daily lives.
Yep, I agree. I think the future is now. There's no excuse to wait. If you're an individual, a business organization, or a community, and you want to get engaged, the time is now. So everyone can take their part.
All right. We are still at Web 2, so everybody's using Web 2, right? 5% is using Web 3, and Web 4 is coming, so that everybody will be able to use Web 3. We are getting there, slowly, accelerating, but surely.
Yeah, I think definitely 7 billion people are contributing to this global warming. And there are definitely, like more than 50% of these 7 billion people need a lot of support. So unless every individual comes forward, because we all own data and we all do everything in digital world, ultimately if we don't do, I don't think the world will be sustainable. So it has to be, every individual should contribute, and there is certain set of rules, and that we have to go with that. But unless that consciousness is coming in every individual, it won't work.
Okay, thank you very much to all, and thank you very much for your participation.